Hi everybody! I originally wrote the subject of this video as an article last year or the year before that, and given that The Nun is coming out later this year, I thought I'd turn that article into a video, and what perfect timing because as I was working on this, they finally released the first poster and trailer for the movie. So jumping right in, some of you might be thinking I'm against the spin-off to The Conjuring 2 titled The Nun because I am anti-reboot, remake, and tend to have an aversion to spin-offs. If you're thinking that's why I'm against this idea, let me tell you now, you're 100% wrong. My reason for being against this is far more logical than you may think and actually comes down to key dot points in The Conjuring 2 that makes the possibility of a spin-off pointless and in essence counteract the very plot to the film in my mind. Why the spin-off centered around the demon nun is a bad idea comes down to one line in The Conjuring 2. If you haven't seen The Conjuring 2 or Annabelle Creation, then warning, this video contains spoilers. During the final 30 minutes of the film is when the balance of power starts to shift for our heroes Ed Warren, played by Patrick Wilson, and Lorraine Warren, played by Vera Farmiga. As the Warrens are on the train preparing to leave, they replay recordings to find there is a hidden message among the tapes. It is after they hear this, Lorraine has a vision and is finally able to speak with the spirit of Bill Wilkins. Upon breaking from her trance, she states to Ed that an inhuman spirit is using the spirit of Bill Wilkins like a pawn. She then goes on to say, quote, "something that's taken a blasphemous form to attack my faith." This is key. The meaning of this statement goes into the foundation of the film and actually comes from reality in the cases Ed and Lorraine worked on in their lives and what they came to understand about the paranormal and demons in general. Now, if you don't believe any of this, that is perfectly fine. It's still the base mythology for the film, so that's reason enough to pay attention. What Lorraine's line meant, and perhaps is something not very fleshed out in the movies, is that demons thrive on anonymity. It gives them power over those they torment. Think about it. Are people likely to believe you if you go around saying you're being attacked by a demonic nun? No, they'll think you're crazy and send you straight to the funny farm. Demons majority of the time will not reveal their true names or true face to those who see them. This, however, is portrayed in the film. The demon hid its presence from Lorraine, one, so that no one would believe Janet, Madison Wolfe, and therefore make her easier to cut off from everyone else. And two, because prior to the Warrens' involvement in the case, the demon had revealed its name to Lorraine, and if she realized this, she would have power over the demon. A tool demons use is to take the form of something you hold sacred or something you fear and turn it into something far more sinister. This is a clever strategy designed to break down the human spirit and make it harder for people's accounts to hold much credibility. Ed and Lorraine are devout Catholics and take a lot of strength from their faith. The demon in question took the form of a sinister-looking nun to torment and mock Lorraine and the faith she held so sacred to break her down. It is for this very reason a spin-off based on this demon would not work. The demon we have now come to know as Valak, played by Bonnie Aarons, does not actually have the form of a demonic nun. It only took this form to torment Lorraine because of her Catholic faith. If the demon was to torment another person, it would take the form of something they love or something they fear, which it essentially did to the Hodgson's children. Their favourite nursery rhyme and one they all bonded over was the Crooked Man. The demon in question took the form of the Crooked Man to terrorise the children by turning something they loved against them. This is something it would do to whomever it came into contact with. Its appearance is based on that person's fear and desire. So without Lorraine Warren being in this spin-off, Valak would have no reason to take on the form of a demonic nun. This spin-off being a bad idea has nothing to do with personal taste, although this is very clearly a cash grab attempt made by the studios, as they did the same thing with Annabelle after the release of The Conjuring. And that was a huge bust, mainly because they created a whole new fictional story which in no way relates to the basis it was created from or holds any of the original story's mythology, and because of that it loses a lot of weight. The same thing is bound to happen in The Nun. It breaks away from the Conjuring mythology, and a film's mythology is what gives the plot depth. It's what helps it all make sense. Start messing with that and the whole film falls apart. Now what we know is that the nun plot is that in 1952 in Romania, a nun, a Catholic priest and a novice, sounds like the opening of a joke, sent by the Vatican investigate the mysterious suicidal death of a nun at the Carta Monastery. Now when I heard Vera Farmiga's sister was cast in this, I thought, okay, great! If she's in it as a young Lorraine, then the demon nun makes sense because it's linked to Lorraine. But then I learned she plays Sister Irene and that hope was shot to hell. Now, we were first introduced to the demon nun during the events of The Conjuring 2 set in 1976, and the demon in question torments Lorraine for about a year, and then she ends up working on a case this demon is involved in. So the nun takes place 24 years before Lorraine meets Valak. The next time we see Valak is in a picture frame during a scene in Annabelle Creation, which is set in 1955, just 3 years after the events in which the nun will take place. In this scene, it's the father who notices the strange-looking nun who sort of fades in and out of the picture, and this is the first time the nun the photo belongs to notices this. Now, she tells us the picture was taken at a monastery she used to reside at, and at the end of the film, a post-credit scene shows us Valak in that very monastery in 1952. So while I love how there is a logical timeline, and I love how subtle the setup for the movie is and how this links all the films together, but nevertheless, right now for me, utilizing this character still makes no sense in terms of supernatural mythology established in the films and what Lorraine tells us about this demon. The Conjuring 2 was a fantastic film, and I would be more than thrilled to see a third installment based on another case that Ed and Lorraine worked on, which I do believe is in the works, but this spin-off just does not work in my mind. I'm not saying the film would be bad. If done right, it could be amazing, but it would not make sense, and you still can't deny the fact this is a cash grab idea at work. Thank you so much for watching this video. I was looking at the monitor. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then hit that thumbs up, and please comment down below, let me know if you're excited to see The Nun and what your thoughts are on it and the Conjuring franchise as a whole. Until next time, bye.